Hello and welcome to the Secret of Wealth Project. I'm Matt. Hope you're doing all right. So I just want to say a massive warm welcome. This is Affiliate Marketing for Beginners Part 3. If you've not already seen on the YouTube channel, there's already Part 1, Part 2. This is Part 3, and obviously there's some more parts to come. But yeah, it's 100% free course. If you've paid for this course anywhere and you've been ripped off, go get your money back. This is a free course from the Secret Wealth Project, from me, Matt. And yeah, if you just want to read the little disclaimer down below, it basically says, use this at your own, whatever it says. Just have a little read down there, but use this at your own peril or whatever. It's information only. I'm not recommending anything. It's not financial advice. I'm not saying you'll earn any amount of money or anything like that. So, you know, it is what it is. So there. With that being said, let's get started. So, affiliate marketing, building authority content sites around a micro niche. So in the last part of the course, we talked about creating video content on YouTube. This is great for talkers. So if, like me, you prefer video, don't get me wrong, I'm quite good at writing. When I get stuck in, I'm kind of good at it. And I'm quite good at writing sales copy and things like that, but I don't enjoy it. I enjoy talking. And I don't know if you say I got the gift of the gab, but I definitely prefer talking to writing. So my preference is for creating videos on YouTube for this method. Having said that, because I find it faster, easier, it just clicks with me better. I enjoy it, so it's just the way I go. But some people aren't talkers. Some people hate the idea of doing what I'm doing now, which is just getting on camera and talking. They much prefer the idea of writing. So for you guys, obviously for the talkers, the last video was for you. For the content writers, this video is for you. Okay, so if you prefer writing, then this is the one. And creating a content site might be better if you're a writer. So we've also covered choosing a niche and keywords, etc. in previous videos. So if you're wondering what niche you want to make your affiliate content site about or your authority site about, then most of the niche choice selection stuff and keyword selection stuff, at least in this course, is covered in the other videos. So watch them first if you're not already. So in this part, we're going to assume you already know what niche you're going to pursue and possibly found a few affiliate products that you could potentially promote to that niche. And you're more a writer than a talker. Or even better, you're going to do both, you know. So, affiliate marketing, choosing a platform to create your site on. So there's tons of different options, but obviously you're going to need to create some kind of site or blog or something for basically people to come to, consume your content, and then find your affiliate links, and then that's how you're going to make money. So you need a place for people to find your content, so generate traffic using that, and then obviously somewhere to pre-sell that traffic, send it to an affiliate offer, and make money. So traditionally, until the last year or so, I used to spit and swear if anybody said anything about any kind of site builder or anything like that. I used to be like, no, don't do it. And I used to hate WordPress, and just any kind of site builder wasn't for me. I used to build everything I made in HTML and or CSS, static kind of website stuff. So I used to use Dreamweaver. And obviously that's one option. Another option is WordPress-based websites. You've probably heard of WordPress. It originally started out as a blogging platform, but now it's become literally everything. You can build e-commerce stores using it. You can build blogs. You can build just content-based sites. Pretty much it's become kind of a one-stop shop for creating websites. And then there's other website builder tools. For example, Wix, Weebly, and Squarespace. I've not really used Weebly and Squarespace, but I've used Wix, and I really like Wix now. So I like and currently use Wix, but I used to use Dreamweaver and create HTML and CSS static sites. Like I said, once upon a time, I'd run a mile from website builders or blogging platforms, and I'd say you must create HTML sites, but now I don't feel that way. As long as they rank in Google, you will be fine. In fact, there's a lot of advantages to not doing the static thing. So I do prefer remotely hosted platforms also. If you have to be responsible for uploading your site, dealing with like FTP, that's file transfer protocol programs, maintaining security of your sites, version updates, worrying about your server and stuff, you'll likely bog yourself down with technical things that do not matter. At the end of the day, what platform you use or what you host your content on does not matter anywhere near as much nowadays as the content itself. So focus on content and marketing. Let somebody else worry about hosting and backups and security and all that stuff. See, things have changed. It used to be good to be able to control that part of it. Now it's not so good. It's like people that start going into business and decide they want to do all their accounts themselves. You're not accountants. You shouldn't be specializing in tax and accountancy unless you're an accountant. So why try and do everything yourself? It's taking your focus of what will actually make you money, which in affiliate marketing's case is content, pre-selling that content, potentially capturing leads to send email content over time and generate more kind of affiliate marketing commissions. So what I'm saying is the money is not in, you know, dealing with host issues or you know, making sure your server's secure. All that stuff just bogs you down. And nowadays, you don't need to worry about that stuff. So I would suggest not going the HTML kind of static website route nowadays. So the importance of patience for profits. Once you've chosen your preferred hosting and site content solution, you can start building your site. But just remember that this strategy in particular, it's not using paid traffic, so you can't just turn it on and off. This is a long-term one. Google can take anywhere from 3 to 12 months to start properly ranking your site. So if you're impatient, this may not be the model for you. Any internet business takes some amount of patience, but SEO-based, kind of content-based marketing strategies take more patience than a lot of models. So if you've not got the patience, don't bother, do something else. It's not for you. But if you're happy to wait 3, maybe 6 months, maybe 9 months, maybe 12 months to really start to get any traction, and you're willing to put consistent effort in every day over that whole period of time, then possibly this could be for you. 3 to 6 months is probably around the realistic time before you start to get any kind of traction. It could happen a little bit quicker, but honestly, on a brand new domain that Google doesn't know and trust, you've just bought a domain name and you start putting content on it, expecting results before the 3-month point is unrealistic. Not impossible, but unrealistic in most cases. 6 months is much more realistic. You should start ranking probably for long tail keywords, definitely within 6 months, I'd have thought. But worst case scenario, 12 months. If you're not ranking in 12 months, and it's likely to be much faster, but if you're not ranking in 12 months, something is significantly wrong. But it's one of them things, you've got to give 3 to 6 months consistent effort every single day to really start to see that momentum build. And if you're not willing to put that kind of time frame in of effort into it without any reward potentially without any reward during that time, then it's probably not for you. Now, there are faster ways. For example, YouTube, you're likely to get more traction. It's still probably going to take you 3 months or so to get some traction in YouTube, but you might hit a few home runs because unlike your own domain, whereby Google doesn't know it and it's got to build up some trust and stuff, and you're almost in a, I don't know what the right term is, I don't know if it's sandbox, but you're almost in a kind of like a penned off area where Google say, we don't know this site yet, we're going to watch it for a while, we're not going to give it any significant ranks, or we're not going to let it rank for any keywords that matter, and we're just going to watch it for a while and see what it does, see if it does anything silly, see if it does anything spammy. So it basically will be watching you for the first 3 to 6 months, but you won't really get the massive results that down the line when you've got a trusted domain that you will. Having said that, if you use a platform like YouTube, potentially you could get that a lot quicker because Google own YouTube and they know that most people on YouTube that are playing fairly and properly, it can trust what's likely to happen and what the experience is likely to be from a YouTube video from on-site analytics. So YouTube will know how that video is performing in relation to its algorithm, so that will feed back to Google, so potentially be able to affect your rankings for a video in Google a lot faster than you can do on your own site. But there are benefits to ranking your own site, especially over the longer term. So I'm not saying don't do it, but I'm saying if you're going to do this for a week or two and then quit because you're not getting massive rankings or you've not given it enough time, 3 to 6 months is a required minimum, and really should be working 6 to 12 months before you really start to see any proper traction. So if you get rankings, they're likely to stick around for a long time, especially on long tail keywords. So that's why this is really a great long-term strategy. And once you get that snowball of momentum, you start to really see your rankings kind of build and build and build. And as you build more trust and stuff in your domain, you're likely to see some serious benefits of it. Some people call it like being a Google content partner. So Google is only a listing of websites. It can't satisfy a consumer or somebody searching on their site. It can't satisfy them without good content. So that's why some people call SEO-based website builders kind of content partners, because it's almost like you're a content partner with Google. When it trusts your content is good content, it will serve up that content more often to its users because it knows it's good content and the user is getting a good experience. So it will help you even more to rank your content because it knows you're giving the user a good experience. Hope that makes sense. Sorry if I've labored the issue. So remember, with this method, you are front loading the work for back end profits. So if you're expecting to, like with paid traffic, for example, start an ad today and make £1 million by tomorrow, you're not gonna, or $1 million by tomorrow, you're not gonna, it's unrealistic. That's not this business model. Go elsewhere, chase some other shiny objects. That's not affiliate marketing with search engine based content, content sites. Just laying it out realistically. So let's say you make no money for 6 months, 6 whole months of making nothing and doing something 7 days a week, every day. Maybe you only spend an hour or two, but every single day for 6 months. But then you make $1,000 to $10,000 a month for the rest of your life, or at least maybe for 5 years or 10 years maybe. I mean, if you stay consistent, there's no reason why it can't be decades. But if you did that, if you made no money for 6 months, but then $10,000 a month for the rest of your life, would that be worthwhile? Of course it would. But this is what we're talking about: front loading the work and back ending the profits. Okay. So earnings disclaimer: I'm not promising you're going to make $1,000 to $10,000 a month. I would never do that. I could never do that. If anybody does promise you that, they're a scammer. They're a get-rich-quick scammer. Run away. Nobody can promise you that. If somebody does, it's too good to be true. Run. I'm not about that. I want you to win. I want you to win over the long term. So I'm not going to promise something stupid like that. But I've seen it and I've done it. I've set up new kind of affiliate-based things and started making very good money that consistently come in year after year. And you can do it too. Obviously, I can't promise that though. This could be very real for many people that actually follow through on this course. Remember, this is how I got started and have made millions online since. Cue somebody telling me I'm not a millionaire. Bore off. I'm not bragging. I'm hoping to inspire. Lol. See, literally every time, I don't like saying it because some people think that if I say, oh, I'm a millionaire, like I'm bragging or something. You know, you're probably not a pretty young girl. Do you know what I mean? I'm not bragging. I'm not trying to impress anybody. I'm just being honest. I'm just being real. I got started with affiliate marketing and I've gone on to make millions online. If that annoys you, I'm sorry. It's not intentional. I'm saying it to inspire you, to let you know that this is very real and it's working now just as good as it did all those years ago, back in the early 2000s when I started. It's just the same. I mean, it's not just the same, but it is just the same. This is timeless stuff. Little bits and bobs change, but how I teach it won't change. This will still work 5 years from now, 10 years from now. It just will. Nothing's going to change in this because I don't focus on short-term kind of little tweaky strategies that are just working right now. This is all very long-term stuff that will likely be working for decades. So you could start this business model and start making consistent effort now. And if you're still doing this in 10 years' time, likelihood is you've made millions from this exact technique. But it's all about who can stay consistent. So you've chosen your keywords. So following advice in previous parts of this course, you should have already chose your main keyword. So if you've not already done that, go back to the other videos and do that. But they should not be broad like diet. So this is just a little bit going back over what we talked about before. They shouldn't be broad like diet, but they should not be obscure like vegan green diet for hairy men with 3 arms. Nobody is typing vegan green diet for hairy men with 3 arms. So that's too long tail a keyword. And even if somebody has types that and it comes up on some weird keyword tool, they're never going to type it again. They're just not. So don't be targeting for things too kind of crazily kind of nichey like that. Somewhere in between is what you want. There's methods to check your keywords for traffic, but we're not going to go in depth into that here. And it's probably overkill for a lot of you, at least getting started. But here's a hint. Google SEO keywords for more info, or check Google Keyword Planner. So if you guys are more interested in a bit more in-depth kind of information about keywords and stuff, then you can always Google SEO keywords or Google Keyword Planner. Okay? Right. So your main keyword. You're going to use your main or broadish niche keyword to focus on your index page or home page. Let me explain. So when I say your broadish niche keyword, I don't mean in that previous example, I don't mean diet. But it might be diet, vegan diet for men's testosterone, potentially. That's just an example off the top of my head, but that might be your broadish niche keyword, and then everything else is related to that but longer tail than that. Maybe you'll go for like a 3 or 4 keyword phrase, so it won't be diet, it might be a 3 keyword phrase, so diet for men or diet for teenagers or something like that. But nowadays, to get traction quickest, I might even consider going for like a 4-word keyword to start off with. So it might be vegan, diet, teenage females, for example. Probably no one's searching that, but that's just an example. That kind of niched down. And then other examples of that might be vegan diet for teenage females on the go, or in the gym. They're the really long tail keywords, but you want your main kind of niche keyword, the one that's almost like your big win, so your ultimate success. So if you were selling mobile phones, then your ultimate successful keyword would probably be mobile phones, but it's too broad that you will ever rank for it. You will never rank for mobile phones. Never say never, but chances are you'll never ever realistically rank for mobile phones. So don't try and target that. But pink mobile phones in Canada, you're probably going to rank for that quite easily, So you want something that's not really ridiculously broad, where there's loads of loads of competition like mobile phones. You want it to be niched down somewhat, but still quite a win if you was to manage to rank #1 for it. Hope that makes sense. Again, this is a beginner's free course, so if you need more details on any of this, feel free to comment down below and I'll expand on it for free in the comments section, obviously. But Google basically gives most juice to your index page. So an index page is like the home page. So the first page you land on when you type in www.secretwealthproject.com, that is the index page or the home page of that site. And so the hardest or shortest tail keyword to rank for, you will target on your index page or your home page, okay? And this might take a while. You're probably not going to get immediate rankings, but index pages typically have the most Google juice. So Google tends to prefer the index page. That might be because typically it's the most linked to page. That might be the reason. But that's typically the rule of thumb is your main page, your landing page, or your home page, whatever you want to call it, index page, is the page that gets most of the Google juice or the most love from Google. So that's the one that you probably want to target your most difficult keywords for. And then your really long tail stuff that maybe only gets, I don't know, 50 searches a month or 100 searches a month or maybe even 20 searches a month, whatever. You'll target them as articles off that main page, not on the main page. So this may take longer for it to rank for than the longer tail keywords, but that's okay. We'll focus on long tail keywords to start with anyway. So you want to plan your content around your keyword. So to start with, plan your content. Build a keyword list like we talked about in the last video. And your aim is to create content pages on all of the keywords you can find in your niche. That might sound like a mammoth task, but remember, this is not something we're going to be doing for 10 days and then we're going to quit. This is something whereby if you're going to build an authority site or a content site that's going to rank well in Google over the long term, you need to be putting consistent effort into this. But if you get it right, you could get it really right and it'll be really, really, really worth it. So you don't have to create all this content in one go. It's better to do it slowly. Google actually likes this. Google doesn't like to see stale, stagnant sites that never change. Or what I should say is if you've got two sites and they're equally loved by Google, but one is always updating their content and one is always the same, which site do you think, all of the things being equal, which site do you think Google's going to like more? It's the one that's constantly updating. So you don't have to create this content in one go. Don't think, oh my God, I've got to create 100 articles before I launch my site. No, 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 no. You get your site up with 1 or 2 pages and then you build on it. Literally building it like that is better. Google likes to see a constantly evolving site, not one that just gets 1,000 pages on it overnight. So Rome wasn't built in a day. Your website won't be either. So plan your content around your keyword. Just like on YouTube, some of your pages will do amazing in Google and bring the vast majority of your traffic, but many won't do much at all. Make sure you install Google Analytics or another traffic tracking tool so you know what's working and what's not. You can see where your traffic's coming from. You can see what keywords people are typing to find your page. I mean, what will actually happen is you will expect that you've optimized it for a certain search term and you'll think people are searching that and finding your page. And in reality, it'll be something totally different, some other random search terms. But obviously, Google Analytics, if you get some data on what people are typing in to find your site, you might even be able to use that as inspiration to create new content based around that keyword. So let's say you create vegan recipes for men, and that's what you intend on ranking for. And then when you search your analytics, you actually find out on that page, incoming traffic is coming from the search terms vegan black pudding recipes for men, alternatives. Then you can go, okay, a lot of traffic's coming through that search term. And even though I didn't create the page intended for that search term, a lot of traffic's coming from it. So I'll create a page using that particular search term. So that's a kind of intermediate, kind of advanced strategy, really. It's not going for just the search terms that you find out there in public sources. It's actually using your own data to find content, create content. So double down on what is working and do more of it. So if you find a particular page is working really well for you, then you can almost use that as a category within your niche. So you know, let's say this page is doing really well, then you can create other content based around the keywords of that page, you know, almost like using it as a kind of like a supporter of that. And if that's doing well, chances are you can double down on this stuff and do even better. I hope that makes sense. Again, if anything doesn't make sense or you want anything clarifying, I'm happy to answer you for free in the comments down below the video. So if you've got any thoughts on this, if you've got any questions or anything like that, put them down below. And as long as I see them, I don't always get notified of my comments, but as long as I see them, I will answer them for you. So get them put down there, and if you've got anything that needs clarifying. So an example, pasta dishes for vegans start to rank well and send lots of traffic. Then create another page, best pasta recipes for vegans. So what you do is you unexpectedly get a regular spike in traffic on one page, pasta dishes for vegans in this example. Then you create best pasta recipes for vegans, which is obviously I've added best and I've added recipes instead of dishes. but you could go best pasta dishes for vegans, or best I don't know, black pudding dishes for vegans, whatever. But you get my idea. You get the idea, don't you? Hopefully you do. So content ideas. Right, 1 second. The fish is trying to get out of this room because she can't stand it anymore. Just had to let the fish out there. Right, so content ideas. Create useful content that people in your niche will enjoy and hopefully share, okay? Some ideas include tips, how-tos, myths, reviews, top 10 lists, original research, free guides, etc. So there's just a few ideas if you go, I don't know what to write about vegan recipes for men. Obviously, it helps if you can write about something you're interested in, something you're passionate about. It's not essential, but it's definitely helpful. But there's a few ideas to inspire you. Obviously, you can look at other people's content within your niche to find out what they write about. You know, there'll likely be other content sites, even if they're not in your micro niche, there'll likely be content sites that are just like one level above. So you can kind of go a little bit broader with your keywords, and then you'll find other content sites and you'll be able to get ideas from them potentially for the type of articles that they write. So how to structure your content for SEO. So it's all about SEO, or search engine optimization. This is getting ranked in Google. So you want to create well-written content for humans, and this is the important point that a lot of people miss. Too many beginners and too many people get too aggressive on creating content for the search engines. It's not about creating content for search engines. It's about creating content for humans. The search engines are too clever nowadays that they don't just see a few keywords on your page and think, oh, okay, we'll rank them well. They look at all kinds of things like how long the person stays on your website. If they're clicking back instantly, then it's not relevant for the search term. So write for humans, write to give a good experience for humans, and this will serve you best over the long term. Right, include the keyword in the title tag. Obviously, Google and other search engines aren't going to know what your content's about if they've not got any idea. And obviously, the first thing they're going to do is look at the content on your site. So you want to include the keyword in the title tag. You want to include the keyword and synonyms in the meta description and keyword section of your site builder. Now, this may have limited impact, but it's still worth doing. Anywhere where you can put a keyword in without stuffing it in and making it like unnatural, then you definitely should. Obviously, I'm not going into exactly where to put these keywords, but basically, depending on what you're using, whether that's WordPress or Wix or Weebly or whatever, there will be an area where you can put keywords in for SEO, or you can put meta descriptions or meta tags in or whatever. And again, it might have limited effect, but if there's an option for it, go for it. Never spam the search engines, always write naturally. Do not keyword stuff. So don't think just because you've wrote vegan dishes for men that if you write vegan dishes for men 20 times, you'll rank better than someone that's only wrote it 5 times on the page. It doesn't work like that. It did used to work like that back in the early 2000s. Can't remember if it ever worked like that with Google, but I remember maybe Yahoo for a short period of time used to work like that. You used to be able to stuff the keywords into the bottom of the page and make them the same color as the background, so you couldn't even see the keywords, but they was on the page, and the search engines would go nuts for it. But obviously, search engines got smart on all them kind of spammy techniques, and they got really smart within a year or two of the early 2000s. So if you're still trying to do stuff like that in 2017, 18, 19, 20, then you're a maniac, because it doesn't work anymore. In fact, it's quite the opposite. It really, really, really damages in your site. And the thing is, you can't afford to make any mistakes, especially with a new domain. If you screw something up and try to manipulate the search engines will likely penalize you, and it probably won't be recoverable from in the short term. You'd be better off almost getting a new domain and doing everything from scratch. So always write naturally from a long-term perspective for the reader, not for a search engine. Don't do any spammy tactics. I still see people, I was watching a couple of YouTube videos like a few weeks ago on some search engine stuff, and the guy, everything he was recommending was all black hat, which is basically what we call kind of spammy tactics, short-term tactics that are against terms of service, that are frowned upon by the search engines, and he was honest, and I've got a lot of respect for this guy. He knows a lot about e-commerce, but he was actually recommending these spammy black hat techniques now for ranking for ranking sites, and it's like, if it works for 3 months, I'll be surprised if it works at all. Do you know what I mean? It's like, steer clear of weird things like link wheels and SEO software and Fiverr gigs and things like that. Just do it naturally. Do it for the long term. If you're not in it for the long term, just don't bother doing it. It's not the model for you. So only use your keywords when it makes sense to. So don't think that, oh, I'm gonna put it twice in the title tag, I'm gonna put it twice in the headline tag, I'm gonna put it twice in the subheadline, I'm gonna put it once in italics, once in bold, once underlined, I'm gonna put it 3 times in the first paragraph, second paragraph, and fourth paragraph. Don't do it. Don't do it. Honestly, Google knows the difference between something written naturally and something that's not. In fact, it knows how to spot things like that better than you do. It's got literally, I don't know if it's billions or trillions, but it's got tons and tons and tons of data over, like, literally way over a decade, a couple of decades of data of every website out there, all the good websites versus all the bad websites. If you do anything black hat, spammy, or thinking you're being smart to trick the search engines, you will get penalized and or not rank in the search engines, and you won't become a Google content partner. You'll become a Google enemy, and then you'll struggle to ever recover from that. So just do everything naturally and use keywords where it makes sense to. Be mindful of other words that mean the same thing and include them also. So one of the terms that some people use, latent semantic indexing. Basically, it's using the same words or phrases that mean the same thing as your main keyword. So what people used to do is they'd go, right, I'm going to stuff this keyword into my page 10 times because that's what I'm trying to rank for. And that might have worked once upon a time, but it doesn't really work that well anymore. Google likes to see natural writing. Now, if I'm writing about vegans, I'm likely to use the word vegan. I'm likely to use the word veganism. I'm likely to use the word plant-based diet. These are all terms that mean kind of this similar thing, and there's loads of others, but they're natural, and I wouldn't stuff all the synonyms in there. I wouldn't do that, but I might use 1 or 2 naturally within my writing, just to kind of, because that's what makes sense for a human user. So I'm not going to just use the same keyword again and again. I'm going to use different terms that mean the same thing because that's a natural way to write, and that's what Google looks for. So it's just something to think about. So don't just focus on your keywords, focus on other keywords that mean the same thing. So include the keyword in the headline and or subheadline of the page. That is probably as far as I would go with regards to forcing keywords in your title, in your headline, and possibly in your subheadline and or within the first paragraph of your text, just because that is natural. And then throughout the rest, if it ends up getting used 10 times, it ends up getting used 10 times, but only if that's natural. Don't do it for the search engines. Do it because it's what's right for your article, okay? I hope that makes sense. Write your content in a me to you conversational way. So again, this is for humans. This is the best way to write. So you write it like you're talking to me. You're not talking to 10,000 people. You're not talking to Google. You're not talking to a Google employee. You're talking to one person, and that is your exact avatar of your potential reader or your potential customer or the traffic. You're talking you to them in a conversational way. So imagine you are talking to one person, a friend, and write like that. Or think magazine style writing, so not the kind of writing they taught you at school. Now, some people will say Google prefers like proper, what's it called? Old English or whatever. Some people would say they prefer an academic style of writing. They don't. Don't be scared of breaking English norms. You do not have to write academic style English. But at the same time, don't write purposefully bad English either. It does like to see decent sentence structure. It does like to see decent paragraphs and things like that. But it doesn't expect you to have a PhD in English. Conversational English that a human would enjoy reading better is better than some thee, thou, though, proper academic style of English. So avoid spelling mistakes, avoid really bad grammar, but at the same time, don't get bogged down with it. Keep it conversational, keep it written for a human being. So, viral content. If you can create excellent content that not only ranks for keywords, but is that useful, people want to share it naturally, you will likely do very well for a few reasons we're going to talk about shortly. Google likes to see content being linked to from lots of places. So this is called off-site SEO. So it's not just about how you create your content on the page, it's also about how people link to your site and stuff. And this is where I see a lot of people teaching spammy techniques, like getting crazy link wheels and buying some, I don't know what they call them nowadays, but buying these little networks that will link to you. Google is smart. Google is likely to be one of the first companies that create true AI. So don't think that they're not working actively on AI just from a very kind of narrow perspective to help their search engine products. They are. But they're likely to be one of the first companies that create real AI, or if not the first company that would create real AI. So if you think you can fool them with link wheels over the long term, you've got another thing coming. And remember, everything we're doing is about long term. You don't want to spend a year or 2 years or 3 years of your life building an authority content site only for Google to come along and say, hang on. Back in 2018, this person clearly used these spammy techniques. You know what, we don't like the fact that maybe they use these spammy techniques, so we're going to penalise them now going forwards. You know, maybe you get a 30% reduction in your rankings. They just bury you a little bit, but it takes your business from making $200,000 a year to $100,000 a year. You know, you don't want to see that happen, so do everything natural, do everything long term, right? Okay, so good content that becomes viral is often emotional content, you know, things that kind of pull on the heartstrings of people, or educational content. So you'd like to think content like this would have a viral element to it. People would likely want to share it. And again, if you want to help anybody with affiliate marketing, feel free to share this video. Feel free to share any of the videos on the Secret Wealth Project, but especially this affiliate marketing course. It's a free course. There's nothing in it for me. So go share it. That will help me, to be fair. But yeah, educational content is a great thing to create because it's shareable. Or motivational content, people like motivational content. They're all things that do well at being shareable. So feel free also to include images where appropriate, okay? So within your content, you don't just have to keep it text-based. If it makes sense for a user, if a person would like to see that content kind of with images in it, then feel free to add images. You can get free images from sites like Pexels.com. That's Pexels.com. And there's other free stock image websites. Don't just go out there and steal images. That's copyright infringement, and you're likely to get sued potentially in the future. There are some like nasty operators that literally take photos, put them out there on the internet, hoping people kind of steal them and use them, and then they go around suing everybody. You know, you don't want to fall victim to that. So Pexels.com or one of these Creative Commons sites, whereby you can be certain that the copyright is royalty free and granted to you to use on a free basis, commercially and personally. But anyway, from a search engine optimization point of view, feel free to use any tags you can add within your content management system or your site builder. Use the tags in there, so alt tags or whatever tags it allows you to attach to images. Make sure you include some related keywords on the images, but again, describe the image, describe what it is. So if it's a vegan pasta dish, call it a vegan pasta dish. You know, maybe even slip a couple of long tail words in there. So peas and broccoli vegan pasta dish. You know, just be descriptive. Don't do anything spammy. Don't do anything just for the search engines, but it doesn't hurt to be descriptive, be natural, and include an alt tag or some kind of image tags within that. It will only help with your search engine optimization efforts. Right, so on-site linking. Try to naturally link to related content on your site from your articles. So when you write an article, if it makes sense to link from within that article, maybe at the end of the article to other related content, then do that. Not only will it help create more stickiness on your site, as people that are interested and enjoyed that article can, instead of clicking away because they've consumed your content, they can potentially click to another article on your site, which creates more kind of user on time or on your website time or whatever, or reduces your bounce back rates and stuff. So feel free to naturally link, and it passes the Google juice around a little bit better as well. The longer people stay on your site, the better. If people arrive on your site and then click the back button, it's a signal to Google that your site is not relevant for the keyword it's ranking for, so it's not a good signal. So you want to create sticky content that's good content that people get sucked into and want to spend time with, and then potentially get them onto another piece of your content. And obviously, ultimately, long term, you want them to not only go to another piece of your content, you want them to consume that second piece of content, and that maybe that's a pre-sale piece of content that drives them into an affiliate offer or onto your list, so you can then later follow up with them with affiliate offers. Often you will beat competitors in the rankings simply by having a lower bounce rate. So, like I said before, if two sites are identical, but one you click back on a lot more, well, Google's going to rank the one that doesn't click back on so much, that you don't click back on so much. So a great starter strategy is start creating content for the longest tail keywords in your niche first. There won't be as much traffic, but you won't have as much of a fight ranking for those terms. Small wins build momentum. I always talk about small wins on the Secret Wealth Project. It's all about getting a few small wins under your belt, because them small wins start to snowball and they can become big wins over time. And it's easier to kind of get them low-hanging fruit or them long-tail keywords. It's easier to get them first and then move your way up to the more difficult things. And then eventually, when you've got some authority and some long-term kind of trust within Google, you can attack those slightly more aggressive, more volume-based, that again a lot of searchers, more traffic-based keywords, and you'll be able to conquer them a little bit more easily. But you've got to start on step one, which is the longer tail stuff, or the long keywords. So imagine only 5 people per day in the world search for a keyword, but there's only 2 other sites in the world ranking for that term on purpose. So only 2 other sites that have got a clue about search engine optimization are purposely trying to rank for it. Well, if there's only 3 of you, that means you're likely to be able to get spot 1 to 3 pretty easily, which means you could get up to 150 visits per month in that example from that one article that's relatively easy to rank for because there's only 2 other competitors. I mean, your search term might have no competitors that are actually attempting to rank for it, in which case you're likely to be able to grab that top spot, and that's where most of the traffic is. Not many, but build a lot of these pages. Oh, I think it's saying not many, not much traffic. And you'll start to build a nice flow, but more importantly, trust in Google and confidence to tackle the harder keywords. So aim to have at least 1 good new post a day for a different keyword related to your niche, and over time you will start to dominate your micro niche. So it might take you an hour to write a post, it might take you 2 hours to write a post, it might take you 25 minutes, it might take you 10 minutes if you know the subject inside out. But obviously once you've created that, it's not going anywhere. You know, it's like a brick in a wall. You know, if you're building a house, that brick's not going anywhere. That brick's staying there. And each article, it could be like a really good article. It could be like 10 bricks. And those 10 bricks are staying there forever. So don't think that it's like going to give you a temporary spike of traffic. When your site builds authority, it's likely to be traffic week in, week out, month in, month out, year in, year out. So over time, if you can build 1 new post a day, you're going to start to get some real traction. But you want to be looking at probably, honestly, about 120 posts before you're likely to start to get some serious traction within Google. And that might be 120 posts, 1 per day, you know. Try to build 1 to 5 links to your site to different pages on your site each day as well. Okay, so if you can create one new article a day and build 1 to 5 links to your site, any page per day, and you'll start to really build some traction over time. And it's a great little starter strategy. I mean, if you're not committed to creating one post and 1, maybe 2, maybe 3 links a day, again, you're probably in the wrong business, because you're going to need some consistent effort to make this work. So building links then. Now you need to try and build links to your site. This is off-page SEO. Make sure most of the links you build are from sites or categories of sites that are related to your niche. Let me just grab a drink. So for example, 1 second. So for example, if you're linking from Dirty Derek's pornsite.com, then that link is not going to be very good unless your site's Dirty Deirdre's pornsite.com. And I don't advise doing adult stuff because it's hard to rank for. You can't get no paid traffic for it. It's got limited potential in the future. So try and keep clean niches. I'm not judging you. I don't care what you make it on. If you want to make it on porn, go for it. You know, but I don't really know anything about like porn stuff, but I know it's definitely different. So what you don't want is Dirty Derek's pornsite.com link into your site. What you want is, if you've got a vegan site, you're better off having other vegan sites linked to your site, ideally, especially if they're authority sites. So if Google already trusts them and they're sites within your niche, that's an ultimate kind of +1 for the authority of your site. If your content is great, this will happen automatically over time. When people start to find it, they will naturally want to share it. So they'll share it on the Facebook, they'll share it on the Twitter, they'll share it, you know, in wherever. They'll share it all over the internet. Maybe they'll link to it from their site. If it's genuinely amazing content, then they will link to it from all over. Avoid Fiverr links or links from spam networks. A link from BBC or CNN website will be way better, or educational websites, or anyone with kind of trust or long-term standings in Google. They'll be way more helpful to your ranking efforts than one from Derek's Auto Directory. I like the Derek name, don't I? Sorry, Derek. But Derek's Auto Directory, you know, some site whereby you just have to add your link and it adds it automatically. Google doesn't really value those links very well. It probably doesn't value them at all. But if you are linked to from some really highly thought of, well-established website, you're going to get more traction in Google. So think quality more than quantity. Building links is hard. It is time-consuming. So the best way is to create shareable, useful content that is naturally shared. This builds authority like crazy. So you'll spend more time creating the content to make it really good, but it's more likely to be viral of nature and more shareable. So you're likely to build backlinks easier. So if you can put more effort into your content and make it as good as you can, that will likely pay you dividends over the long term. Otherwise, you can create just all right content that's pretty good and then try and build links to it. But that's difficult. So the ultimate is creating great content, but that's not as easy as it sounds. So some people will tell you all your links need to have your keywords in them. This is wrong. So there's something called anchor text. So when you see a blue link on the internet and it says mobile phones in the blue link, that's anchor text. Okay, so it's the text that's within the link that links to your site. Some people will tell you that your keywords that you're optimizing for need to be in that anchor text. They don't. That's wrong. It's old school. Obviously, sometimes they'll be in there, but probably a lot of the time they won't. And this is normal. This is what Google expects to see. Google's smart. Never do anything for them. Do it for the reader. Okay, so you don't want a load of links in Google that have just got your keywords in them, because it looks manipulated, it looks spammy. Google know the ratios that are normal, and if you all of a sudden get 1,000 links with your anchor text in them for your keyword, it's not going to rank you well for it, trust me. So Google expects a certain amount of your inbound links to contain, for example, the words "click here." You know, that's not got your anchor text in it, but it's natural. It's what people do around the website. It expects to see that. So don't think that's a useless link. Don't think that you're somehow going to start ranking for click here. It's natural. Everything natural is good for long-term SEO. Don't do anything short-term. And you want to build links slowly over time because, again, that's natural. If all your links come in one day and contain your keywords as the anchor text, you may get penalized in the rankings. And ignore no follow or do follow. This is old school stuff. Google expects to see both. So if you've no idea what I'm talking about, don't worry about it. But basically, there's certain tags you can use when you're creating a link for somebody. You can make a no follow link or a do follow link. A no follow link would, in the olden days, a no follow link wouldn't pass any Google juice through, and a do follow link would. Well, Google expects to see a mixture of no follow and do follow links. So don't think no follow links are useless and do follow links are the only ones that matter. Do everything naturally. You will thank me for it. I am teaching you the right way to do SEO for the long term. Do any one single strategy, and trust me, as soon as it gets manipulated and everybody's using it, Google just flips it up and it doesn't work anymore. Whereas if you do it this way, yeah, things might not work optimally for the next 6 months, but trust me, when they flip those rules around and you weren't optimal because you weren't following the trends of the SEO people are telling you to follow, when it flips around, you'll likely be laughing because you'll rank well because you've not been trying to manipulate them. Please remember, try to be natural in everything you do for SEO. So what next? Thank you so much for watching. Hit that like button, subscribe for more, double subscribe to know when the next part comes out. I'm going to tell you what's in the next part in a second. Comment down below to let me know what you thought, and I will see you in the next video. So in the next video, we'll talk about the secret of affiliate marketing, which is pre-selling and how to do it properly. Most people don't know about this, and this is what makes the difference between a super affiliate and a crappy affiliate, which most affiliates are. Most affiliates are total rubbish, is because they don't know how to pre-sell. This is one of the first things I ever learned all those years ago, and it's probably the most important thing about affiliate marketing. So I'm going to talk to you about that in the next video. And also we're going to talk about how capturing leads and building an email list, as opposed to just sending the traffic straight to an affiliate offer, might be the most profitable thing you ever did in your business. And lots more. So I just want to say thanks again for watching. Remember to give me a thumbs up, and as soon as this video gets 150 thumbs up, I will create the next part. If you want to, please leave me a comment down below and subscribe and all that jazz. Thanks for watching. I appreciate that you spent this much time with me. Sorry if it's such a long video, but I had lots to cover, and hopefully you enjoyed it. And yeah, I'll see you in the next video. I'm Matt. This has been the Secret Wealth Project. I'll speak to you soon. Bye-bye.